Am I the a-hole for calling my brother's wife a neglectful, financially irresponsible wife? Am I the a-hole for not shaving my head in solidarity? Am I the a-hole for not defending my wife at the dinner table? Am I the a-hole for calling my brother's wife a neglectful, financially irresponsible wife? My female 32 brother, male 36, had a serious accident in his truck 4 years ago, resulting in him becoming disabled and wheelchair-bound. My sister-in-law, his wife, used to be a stay-at-home wife. She is currently handling his care and are essentially living off his Social Security benefits payments, which admittedly isn't a lot, but my parents pay for the house's mortgage, so there's enough money to get them by. My sister-in-law and I have never really gotten along, but we stay civil. However, my biggest argument with her happened days ago when she told us she was going to pursue her old job again to be able to earn money. My parents and I were confused. We asked how is she going to go back to work when she has my disabled brother to care for. She told us she's going to hire a carer to handle all my brother's needs, which triggered a very negative reaction in me and my parents. I told her she chose to become a stay-at-home wife, but she explained that circumstances changed and she had to go back to work. She left years ago to be able to provide for herself and my brother, and a carer is better qualified to care for my brother since she feels overwhelmed and exhausted, but I pointed out how a personal care requires so much money and that her new commitment of a job cannot be put before her husband. I told her it was a bad idea, but she argued that she is in this situation, not me, and she's trying to improve it while I'm judging her from a distance. I told her she was wrong since this is my brother we're talking about and I help with the mortgage, so in response I called her a neglectful, selfish, financially irresponsible wife for throwing my brother's money away on a carer when it's unnecessary, and she's available but she chose to go back to work. She acted shocked and lashed back at me saying I shouldn't have called her those cruel things and that I should show some empathy. I said I do have empathy for my brother and her too, but now that she's going to pay a carer using my brother's Social Security benefit, then I can't help but feel she's slowly checking out of her own marriage. She got highly offended that I question her love for my brother now that he's disabled and left in a rush after calling me nuts and awful. My mom agreed partially with what I said, but told me I went out of line by calling her neglectful, especially since she, sister-in-law, said she's wanting to go back to work to improve her living situation, but my dad is 100% on my side. Was I TA or was my reaction justified? Am I the a-hole for not shaving my head in solidarity? I, 18 female, cut my hair into a pixie cut about 3 years ago to donate it. My hair was to my waist before, and I spent the last year growing it out. I finally managed to get it to about shoulder length after a lot of awkward phases, frustration, and patience. Well, a classmate of mine was just diagnosed with cancer. She's a nice person and I honestly feel for her, but we're not friends. I barely know her since most classes have been online. However, some of her friends have shaved their heads to support and are pushing the rest of the class to shave their head as well. When they ask me, I explain that I've been growing out my hair for so long and don't want to do it all that again so soon. But that if our classmate needed any help, if she missed any classes or homework, that she could call, FaceTime me, and I'd help. Her friends didn't take that well and are now calling me selfish and mean, even though most of the class didn't. 3 of her friends and 2 guys did, no one else. But they argue that I'm different and should do it too, to show support and because you already know what you look like with short hair. The other girls don't, so it's easier for you. The classmate with cancer told them it's fine if I don't want to, and they didn't really have to do it either, but they're not letting it go. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not defending my wife at the dinner table? My wife, 27 female, and me, 36 male, were having Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house last Thursday. My wife has this weird habit of eating with a teaspoon all the time, instead of a regular spoon, so when she and my mom were setting the table, she took a teaspoon for herself. Anyways, when she was eating with it, my dad pointed it out to her and asked, "Why on earth are you eating with a tiny spoon? You know, eating in tiny mouths isn't gonna help you lose those extra pounds you have." I saw it as a harmless joke at the time and laughed along with it. So did my wife at the time. But when we were going back home, she seemed annoyed with me, and at first I didn't get why, until she told me it was because I let my dad joke about her weight and didn't defend her. She has had some trouble with her weight lately, but I didn't think she'd get so angry over the joke. At that time, she seemed chill about the joke and it really seemed harmless. If someone joked about me that way, I wouldn't take it to heart. Personally, I don't think her reaction was reasonable and I don't get why she's still annoyed at me for it.